Good afternoon. We are Group 6 and we are going to talk about our methodology sheet. We have defined our project as an online web with information about the Spanish flight for traffic management. And we tackle with data about passengers, tourists, peak flight seasons, airports, etc. In the following parts of the video, it is going to be justified how the basic level requirements are fulfilled. And our main sources have been the Ministerio de Movilidad y Transporte and mostly Eurostat. As we have just said, we have dealt with data about main Spanish airports, passenger, tourist manufacturers, and we had to deal also with missing values, incorrect values, um, and we have addressed them with doing the average of other values or with find and replace function, but the most important thing is to double check everything we do. And this requirement is also going to be justified in the following parts of the video. And now let's explore our dashboard.
Hi, in this video, we will walk you through how we created this Excel dashboard, which displays passengers and tourist data by Spanish airports and regions across several years. This is the total dashboard. It is important to state that we fulfill the basic level requirements. So for example, if we go to this table, we can see that we have 3 different data types and formats. These are numbers, these are percentages, and this is text. We also applied at least 3 formatting styles, including bold fonts, cell alignment, and customized chart styles. And finally, the information is properly aligned to the data type. For instance, passenger totals are formatted as numbers with 1000 separators, as this one, for example, and percentages are shown with the percentage symbol where needed. So this ensures the presentation matches the meaning of the data. I will be talking about the 2 first plots that appear at the top part of the dashboard, the blue one and the purple one. We started by importing structured data that included columns like year, airport, region, and total passengers, like this table. We made sure the data was clean and properly formatted to work smoothly with pivot tables and charts. Next, we inserted pivot tables to summarize the total number of passengers per airport and per year. This is a pivot table. Here, one pivot table is shown on the left part, listing passenger totals by airport for a selected year. We also created another pivot table on the right side, which summarizes total tourist number by year for each region. And this supports the column chart you can see here in purple. We used a pie chart, like this one, to visualize passenger distribution across airports for a selected year. It updates when the user changes the year in the slicer, which is this thing. The bar chart on the right shows total tourist number per year for selected region, offering a visual comparison over time. Then, to make the dashboard interactive, we added some slicers for filtering by year, like this one, or regions. And these allow users to filter the data and instantly update both pivot tables and the charts. For example, if we want to visualize the data for year 2024, this is the pie chart that we obtain, but if we want to visualize the data for 2016, for example, we see that the data changes whenever we press a slicer. This also happens for this chart if we want to see the evolution of the tourism per year in each region. So we can see how airports contribute to tourism in our country and in each region.
Okay, let's now talk about this dynamic chart and table. which allow us to investigate passengers for different airports, years, and seasons. Here, you can select the button of the airport, year, or season that you want to explore, and then the chart displays the average number of passengers, the maximum number of passengers, and the minimum number of passengers. For example, you can select season autumn, and only October, November, December will display, or only you want to explore Malaga's data, and then the data change. To make this possible, we first create the uh, sheet combined data. In this table, we use the logical function, this logical function, to assign for April, May, and June the name spring, for July, August, September, summer, etc. Then to determine the season of each month. This table then feeds into the pivot table we previously set up in the dashboard, which calculates the average minimum and maximum passengers dynamically. Now let's take a look to the relative affluence sheet. In this sheet, we calculated the percentage of passengers relative to the maximum and minimum values across the dataset using this formula. We use the math function round, and then another formula to calculate the percentage. And then with a logical function, medium, low, high, or very high values appear in this column. And then with this conditional formatting, we can see, for example, how in every airport for the year 2020, for the COVID pandemic, we can see how the color changed to a red one, that is different to the rest of the colors of each column.
Yeah. Okay, so now we are going to address this last set of charts and graphs regarding the passenger share per manufacturer in the last 6 months of 2024. This set of charts consists in 3 tables with a list at the beginning of them, in which we can select the Spanish airport we want to display, for instance, Ibiza Airport for this table. Then the different manufacturers here in the 6 different columns we have, and the cells are filled with the share each of these manufacturers has on each of the airports. Notice how these cells are colored according to a conditional formatting rule that we can see here in this menu. And there are 2 criteria established: one for the pair Airbus-Boeing and another for these 4 remaining manufacturers. The criteria regarding Airbus and Boeing establishes that over the 50% of share, the share is going to be green. Between the 30% and the 50% is going to be yellow, and below the 30% is going to be red. For the other 4, whenever the share is over the 1% is going to be green, whenever it's between the 0.3% and the 1% is going to be yellow, and whenever below the 0.3% is going to be red. Also, a set of mini graphs is displayed here in the right hand side of the charts to have a better illustrative way to see this data. Moreover, two bar graphs have been created here below, and of course these graphs respond to the changes in the different airports we can select here in the lists. And there are 2, one comparing Airbus and Boeing, and another one comparing the rest of the manufacturers. All this data has been obtained from this Eurostat table, the one on top on this separated sheet, and the data has been then obtained from this table with a set of functions, and then it has been stored in 3 different tables. Here we have the total passengers per airport per month and the total summation for the 6 last months of 2024. Then we have a table with the total passenger number per manufacturer for the last 6 months, and then a table in which the share is computed. And from this data, we can elaborate this part we have seen in the dashboard. And with this, we have already covered all the information here in this project. So we hope you enjoyed it, and And that's it.